The explosions were not random, they were precise, timed, and aimed at the very core of Iran's internal power structure. Just before 2:30 a.m., multiple strikes hit different locations across Tehran. Within minutes, two of the most powerful security figures in the country were dead. No warning, no interception, no time to react. This was not a battlefield strike. This was a decapitation. And it raised a question that military analysts are still trying to answer. How did these strikes reach deep into one of the most heavily defended capitals in the Middle East and eliminate targets surrounded by security? Because what happened that night was not just about who was killed, it was about how it was done and why it signals a dangerous shift in modern warfare. To understand the significance of this operation, you have to understand the structure of power inside Iran. Unlike conventional militaries, Iran relies on a layered system of control. At the center is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. Alongside it operates the Basiji, a paramilitary force responsible for internal security, crowd control, and rapid mobilization during unrest. These are not just military units. They are instruments of regime stability. Ali Larijani, a key security figure, represented the political and security bridge between military operations and state policy. Gholamreza Soleimani, as commander of the Basij, oversaw the very force responsible for maintaining internal control across cities and provinces. Together, they formed part of a system designed to keep both external threats and domestic unrest in check. So targeting them was not random, it was strategic. But the real story is not just who was targeted, it is how the strike package was able to penetrate. Modern air defense systems are designed to detect, track, and intercept incoming threats. Iran operates a mix of systems, domestically produced ones and others based on Russian designs, including long-range radar networks. On paper, this creates a protective bubble. In reality, that bubble has gaps, and those gaps are exactly what this operation appears to have exploited. There are several possible methods behind such a strike. One involves low observable cruise missiles. These weapons fly at low altitude, hugging the terrain to avoid radar detection. Instead of approaching at high speed from above, they move laterally, using geography and urban clutter to mask their path. Another possibility is the use of standoff munitions launched from outside defended airspace. Aircraft or drones release these weapons at long range, allowing them to glide or navigate independently toward their targets. These systems rely on advanced guidance. Satellite navigation provides broad positioning, but for precision targeting in dense urban environments, that is not enough. So these weapons often use terminal guidance systems. This can include electro-optical sensors, terrain matching, or pre-programmed coordinates refined with intelligence gathered before the strike. Which brings us to the most critical component, intelligence. Because hitting high-value individuals inside a major city requires more than just accurate weapons. It requires knowing exactly where those individuals are at the exact moment the strike arrives. And this is where the operation becomes even more complex. For such precision, real-time or near real-time intelligence is likely involved. This can come from multiple sources. Signals intelligence can track communications. Human intelligence networks can provide location updates, and surveillance platforms, including drones or satellites, can confirm movement patterns. When combined, this creates a targeting chain. Find the target, track the target, fix the location, strike at the precise moment. In modern warfare, this chain is everything. Break one link, and the strike fails. But if every link holds, the result is what happened in Tehran. But speed alone is not what makes these strikes effective. It is coordination. Reports suggest that multiple locations were hit within a short window. This indicates synchronized targeting. The goal is to overwhelm response systems and prevent relocation or escape. Air defenses rely on reaction time. Operators must detect a threat, identify it, and decide how to respond. But when multiple low-visibility threats arrive almost simultaneously, that reaction window shrinks dramatically. Seconds matter. And in this case, those seconds were not enough. There's also another factor that cannot be ignored. Internal vulnerability. Even the most advanced air defense network can be undermined if there are gaps in coordination, delays in command decisions, or weaknesses in communication between units. In highly centralized systems, decision-making can become slower during unexpected events, and that delay creates opportunity. This is not just about technology. It is about how systems perform under pressure. What makes this operation stand out is not just its success, it is its message. Because targeting infrastructure is one thing. Targeting leadership inside the capital sends a very different signal. It suggests that no layer of protection is guaranteed, and that changes how conflicts are fought. But this raises an even bigger question. If leadership inside Tehran can be reached, what does that mean for the rest of Iran's military structure? And more importantly, what happens next? The deaths of Ali Larijani and Gholamreza Soleimani were not isolated events. They were part of a pattern that reveals a clear strategic objective: remove the decision makers, disrupt the chain of command, and create instability from the inside. Because in modern warfare, destroying equipment is no longer enough. You target the system. Recent reports confirm that these strikes were part of a broader campaign targeting senior Iranian leadership and security infrastructure. And the scale of that campaign is significant. Multiple high-ranking figures have been killed in a short period of time. Military sites have been hit. Missile infrastructure has been degraded. Command centers have been disrupted. This is not random escalation. It is systematic pressure. To understand why leadership targeting matters, consider how military organizations function. Every operation depends on coordination. Orders flow from leadership to units on the ground. Intelligence flows upward. Decisions are made based on both. Remove key individuals from that structure and the system slows down. Confusion increases, response times get longer, and in high-intensity conflict, even small delays can have major consequences. But there's another layer to this strategy: internal control. The Basij was not just a paramilitary force, it was a domestic control mechanism. It monitored protests. It enforced state authority. It acted as a rapid response force inside cities. Removing its leadership does not just affect military operations, it affects how the state manages internal stability. This is where the strategy becomes more complex. Analysts often refer to this as dual domain pressure. External pressure degrades military strength. Internal pressure challenges regime control. And when both are applied simultaneously, the impact multiplies. But this approach comes with risks, and those risks are already visible. Following the assassinations, Iran launched a wave of retaliatory strikes, including missiles and drones targeting the region. Some of these weapons carried multiple warheads. Others were designed to overwhelm air defenses. The result was escalation, not containment. This highlights a critical reality of modern conflict. Precision strikes can remove targets, but they do not remove the ability to respond. There is also the question of intelligence penetration, because operations like this require more than advanced weapons. They require access. Reports suggest that the targeting of Larijani may have been enabled by detailed tracking of his movements, potentially involving local sources or surveillance inside Tehran. If true, that represents a significant vulnerability, not just in defense systems, but in internal security itself. And this is where the balance of modern warfare shifts. It is no longer just about air superiority or missile range. It is about information dominance. Who can see more? Who can track better? Who can act faster? But even with superior intelligence, there are limits. Targeting leadership can disrupt operations. It can create uncertainty. But it does not automatically collapse a system. History shows that organizations adapt, new leaders emerge, structures reorganize, and conflicts continue. So why pursue this strategy? Because it changes the tempo of war. Instead of prolonged attrition, it introduces sudden shocks, moments that force rapid adjustment, moments that test the resilience of the system. And Tehran is not the first example. Earlier in the conflict, similar strikes targeted high-level figures, including the assassination of Iran's supreme leader. That operation demonstrated the same principle: precision, timing, and deep intelligence integration. Now, with Larijani and Soleimani gone, the question is not whether Iran can respond. It already has. The real question is how its internal structure adapts under sustained pressure. Because this is what makes modern targeted warfare so dangerous. It operates in the shadows between conventional war and strategic disruption. It avoids large-scale invasions, but it strikes at the core of leadership and control. And for military planners around the world, this raises a critical concern. If leadership nodes can be targeted with this level of precision, no capital is truly safe. No command structure is fully protected. But there is one final layer to this story: deterrence. These strikes are not just about immediate impact. They are about signaling capability, a message that says, we can reach you anywhere, at any time. And that message does not stay contained within one conflict. It reshapes global military thinking. Countries begin to reassess their own vulnerabilities. They invest more in counterintelligence. They harden leadership protection. They rethink how decisions are made under threat. Because the battlefield is no longer defined by geography. It is defined by access, and the ability to act on that access faster than the opponent can react. This is why operations like the one in Tehran matter far beyond a single night. They reveal how wars are being fought now, not just with firepower, but with precision, intelligence, and timing. And as this conflict continues, one thing becomes clear. The future of warfare will not be decided only by who has the most weapons, but by who can find the target first, and strike before anyone even realizes they were exposed.